Welcome back to our Tuesday Fruit of the Spirit devotion. Let's begin with our 3 questions. You can read these back when you hear them. Who are you? I'm a child of God, an heir of eternity, loved and saved through Jesus. What are you called to do? I'm called to be a disciple of Jesus, with Him living in me so that I can live for Him. How can you live for Jesus? With the power and forgiveness of Jesus, I can be a leader by serving God and others. Our theme for this week, if you recall from yesterday, is peace comes with promises. Have you ever received a phone call? Maybe if you have, it's more on something like this, that you've received your phone call. A call from somebody who has something to tell you. Well, Abraham, he received a call from God to leave his entire family behind, and with the promises of God, Abraham listened to the call of God and left everything he knew behind and traveled to a new land with his wife, Sarah. Why would he do that? Why would Abraham leave everything he knows? His brothers and his sisters, his mom and his dad, his friends, maybe his job, and travel to a new place. It seems like to me, making a decision like that would bring a lot of anxiety and worry and fear. Where am I going to live? What am I going to eat? What's my job going to be? When I get there, are people going to be friendly? So why would Abraham go? Well, Abraham goes and he follows God's call because he goes with God's promises. And you see, you're called too. Now, your call might be a little bit different than Abraham's. Abraham was called to leave his homeland. But you're called. You are called by God to live a life for Him. What do I mean when I say live a life for Him? It means that you are called to be a disciple of Jesus. The rest of the world would look at us as Christians and say, why do you read that old book with those promises and those rules? And you would say, because my God gave me that book. He calls me to live by it as a disciple of Christ, living distinctively different from the rest of the world and valuing and loving things like peace, joy, and patience, and kindness. Why would you choose to live this way when the world would tell you that's a silly way to live? Let anger and greed and selfishness be the way you work. Then you'll get ahead. Well, you go and follow God's call with God's promises. Promises that we'll be looking at very closely tomorrow. We already talked yesterday about the promise of eternal life. God also promises us to be with us wherever we go, to have a plan and a purpose for everything we do. We'll talk about those more tomorrow. You are called. You have the peace and promises of God, and you can follow God's call by living as a disciple, an heir, and a leader. Have a great day as Christ's love compels you to rest safely in His promises.